Recording in progress.
Mhm. طيب في آخر سيشن اللي فاتت كنا خلصنا. هنبدأ دلوقتي من page number 20. طيب معاكم. Okay, page number 18. لما تشوفي السكرين عندي قولوا لي. اوكي
اوكي.
كده باينة.
يس.
Here for the read. Yeah, it's about listening. It's listening. Yeah, it's reading part. How to perform first aid. Okay, so yes, Omar, can you just read the first 5 parts?
5 parts. Okay. If you find an ill or injured person, you must check the area around them first to make sure it isn't dangerous. Then move closer to the person and look carefully at him or her. Hmm. Does he or she seem to be very ill? Does he or she have severe injuries? That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. Number 2. The first 5 parts, like from what number 1 here till here.
Oh, okay. If the person is awake but not bleeding, you have to ask يعني him ولا her عشان الاتنين مع بعض مش فارقة.
You have
أروح
to
ازاي
ask
دي؟
him. I think both of them. You have to ask him or you have to ask her how he or she feels and what
Okay.
happened.
How he or she feels and what happened. Check his or her body for signs of injury or infection. You don't have to touch the person's body to do this. If the person doesn't reply, touch his or her shoulder or foot and shout to see if he or she reacts. And remember to check for normal breathing. If the person isn't breathing, someone must call the emergency services immediately. If you know how to perform CPR, you have to do this to help the person start breathing again. However, you mustn't do CPR unless the person is lying on his or her back on a flat surface, such as a floor. The floor.
Mhm. Okay. Okay, number 6 and 7, Mansoor.
Okay, miss. Place your hand on the center of the person chest. Put your other hand on top of the first hand and lock your fingers together. Make sure that your shoulders are above your hands. You don't have to press down on the person chest very much, only 5 to 6 centimeters. Keep your hand on his or her chest and all it to raise up. Again, you have to do this 100 to 120 times a minute until the person starts breathing again.
Mhm. Here, athletic heart center. And the contraction form of it, it's AHC. Okay, yes, Mu'tasim.
Okay, 1 minute. Okay. Athletic Heart Center, AHP. Most of us know that we need to stay healthy, and many of us enjoy sports. But some young athletes believe that they don't need to worry about heart problems until they get very ill. However, uh, health experts agree that athletes must get a special heart examination before they can be completely sure that they don't have problem. For example, in 2006, Muhammad Abdel Wahab was an Egyptian footballer from Fayoum who seemed to be very healthy at the time. At that time, football clubs didn't have to check their players' hearts, but then Abdel Wahab fell down while he was training. Sadly, although the emergency service took him to hospital, Abdel Wahab didn't survive. Fortunately, Egypt became a pioneer in athletic heart care in 2018 when it established the first athletic heart center in the Middle East in Wadi El Nil Hospital. It was decided that the AHC had to have the best technology to check every detail of an athlete's heart, and Dr. Hazem Khamis, the hospital director, he said that the center will help to protect everyone who enjoys sports in Egypt, and it will work with Liverpool John Moores University to help athletes abroad.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, so in this part, he's just talking about the Hereditary Heart Center, about AHC and how it works. How can we deal with that? All these things. And just go with the Dr. Ashraf, Ahmed Ashraf Isa. Okay. Yes, Omar.
Dr. Ahmed Ashraf Aisa, who's the executive director of the center, also believes that anyone who does any kind of sport should check the health of their heart first. For example, the members of the Egyptian national team take full tests of their hearts before major competitions, such as the World Handball Championships. And now Dr. Hazim and Dr. Ahmed have published a book together that everyone can understand the importance of having a healthy heart. It's called Athletic Heart Between Dreams of a Trophy and Sudden Death. مم. يلا كمل
Mhm.
كمل.
Mhm.
Uh, Young athletes and their families mustn't miss this chance to learn about the importance of heart examinations to stay fit and healthy.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Here, keeping a healthy heart. Okay, yes, yes, Mu'tasim.
Uh, from where? From where?
From the
The
first
start?
part here, I think it's page 21. Yeah, keeping a healthy heart.
Okay, keeping a healthy heart. Of course, not everyone will become an athlete or footballer, but that does not mean we should forget about our hearts. So, what should parents do to help their children stay free from heart disease? Your heart pumps about 380 liters of blood through your body every hour. This is a lot of work. In fact, your has to work harder than any other muscle in your body. That's why we need to keep it fit and healthy. We all need to exercise for 30 minutes every day. If we can, we should all get lots of exercise. That means mom and dad as well as the children.
Mhm.
Okay. Try to walk, cycle, and swim, or play games outside as often as you can. Play together as a family, and it will be more fun. If a child decides to take up a new sport, send them to visit doctor to check their heart first. They will probably be fine, but the doctor will need to do some tests to check. Eat healthily to show your children that they need to look at the labels before they buy something. They mustn't eat too much of something if it has a lot of salt or fat in it. Eat well, do lots of exercise, and you should have healthy heart for life.
Okay. Then here about must or have to, and what was the difference between them? Okay, must, like something it's 100% we need to do it. Like I must follow the school rules. You must drive a car without a license. So after must or mustn't, I have to put the verb and the infinitive, like the base verb, the first form of the verb, like follow, drive, play, sleep, like that. Also with the, if I need to make a question, like I'm gonna start with must you speak loudly all the time? So I'm gonna start with must. Okay, and then the verb and infinitive. WH question, I'm gonna put what in the beginning of the sentence, like what must we do when the traffic light is red? Or we can add where, when, who, like that. Passive statement, like we said the sentence, but it was indirect, like we just forgot to remember. Or we put the object in the beginning, like the school, a car, like that. The school rules must be followed. Then here I'm gonna put be, then the third form of the verb, like the past participle for the verb. The school rules must be followed. A car mustn't be driven without a license. Then here we have brief notes. We have to use must. We don't need to use do after must. Like here, students must follow the school rules without to. Okay. Here also we can use must as a noun, and that means something it's so necessary or like obligatory or order or like that. Okay, so here following the school rules is a must, or working hard is a must to reach your goals. So here we use to after must, just in this example only, as a noun or as a noun, not a verb. So here we have reach, it was as a noun, okay? So in this case only, I'm gonna use to, but if after a must to, maybe as a verb, so I'm gonna remove to. Remember this part, like here. Follow, it's a verb, so I can't put to before it. This is verb. So I can't put to. But if it's noun, so it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna just put to because it's noun, not a verb. Then here, when we are talking about must, we can talk as it was in the past. If we need to talk about obligatory, so we're gonna say had to, and it was the same meaning, like so had to, we use it when we are talking about past. Like I had to take my driving test yesterday. So that means this something is so important, but it was in the past. So I can't use must in this case, and I'm gonna use had. I had to take my driving test yesterday. Then here, as we can see, we can use some expressions. Okay, and instead of writing must, we can say it was necessary to, then infinitive. It was a necessity to, then infinitive. It was a must to, then infinitive. Okay. So here we have this part. Maybe we can take this question as a homework because you just need to go on with the next lesson. Okay. So these 7 questions so easy. Actually, you can just take it as a homework. Okay. This part. Then we can go on with uses of must. Like we have to use must plus infinitive when we are talking about present or future only. Like when I say, like when I talk about rules, like drivers must wear seatbelts. And also if I'm talking about the, okay, like here, when I say I must work hard, I must buy, we must buy. So in this case, I'm gonna use must because something comes from my opinion. Like I need to do that. I have to do that because maybe I have a test tomorrow, so I have to study hard now. I must to study hard or I must work hard. Then if I need to give advice to someone, you must stop smoking. If this someone is like maybe my friend, someone from my relatives, so I'm gonna use must stop. Also if I need to if I'm a doctor and I'm just give these advices to my patients, so I'm gonna say you must wash your hands before you eat. Also as a message or as a like invitation to someone or like that. So you're gonna tell him, you must come to my birthday, you must come and see us. If I need to make a question, must you talk while you're eating? Why must you shout at me all the time? These are the uses of must not. About prohibition or about the things that we cannot use it or we cannot do it. You must not park outside the entrance. You must not make loud noise. Then we have here also about the advice. You mustn't waste your time. You mustn't tell. Here we have other ways to say mustn't. When we have here something, it was illegal or it isn't permitted. It will like there's something it's not allowed to you to do it. This is the meaning for it. So I'm gonna add to, then the verb as an infinitive. If it was illegal or against the law, or I'm gonna use to plus infinitive also. So here we can put subject plus P plus not plus allowed or permitted plus to plus infinitive. This is, or if we put the subject or infinitive plus ing. If it was not allowed or against the law, I'm gonna remove the to plus infinitive from here. But here I'm gonna put them. For example, here when they said you, I put here the subject, you, then be as aren't allowed to park your car here. Also, I can say parking your car here is not allowed or is not legal, it's not permitted. Then here we have it's banned or prohibited, forbidden. Then to plus infinitive. Here I have the subject, then be, then banned or prohibited, forbidden. Here I can add from, then the verb plus ing. So if we mention the subject in the beginning of the sentence, so that for sure I'm gonna add at the end, or then the verb plus infinitive. So whenever you go to solve any question, you can just go to the question in the beginning. Like if it starts with the subject, so for sure I'm gonna add from plus the verb plus ing. If not, so it's gonna start with the verb plus ing, like here parking. Then I'm gonna add your car here is banned, prohibited, or forbidden. Also, this many test is homework. I think it's just only 5 questions only. Here with have to or has to, when I say like this one, it's active statement. Like it's not a passive, it's active. Like it's direct. You have to follow the rules. You have to pay the electricity. So first the subject, then have to, has to plus infinitive. And for sure, I'm gonna use has with he, she, it. But with have, like are, you, we, they, I'm gonna use them with have. Here, if it was as a negative, with he, she, it, I'm gonna use doesn't have. With are, you, we, they, I'm gonna use don't have to get up. Here to, then the infinitive. About the question, do they have to wait or does Ahmed have to attend the meeting? If we found here a W8 question, What does Abdu have to do to join the club? Or the electricity bill has to be paid. So I can remove what, and I can write where, when, who, like that, and put do or does. It's according about this, the subject. If the subject he or she or it, so I'm gonna put does. If the subject was I, he, I'm sorry, I, you, we, they, I'm gonna put do. As the question, we're gonna be like that, like what do we have to do? Have to do, have to play, have to eat, like that. Then the passive statement. In the passive, I have to just make like a crisscross like that. I'm gonna put the object in the first, like the electricity bill, then have or has, then to be, then the third form of the verb, like eat, ate, eaten. So I'm gonna choose eaten. Maybe make, made, made. I'm gonna use made, like that. Brief notes. In this one, they told you have to. Okay, when we have to or has to, we're gonna use don't have to or doesn't have to, and will not say haven't or hasn't to. Okay, so this one is wrong. We can't use it, or we can say it like that. When we have or has to, and we need to make it as a negative, I'm gonna say don't have to or doesn't have to. Maybe, for example, we can say Ahmed doesn't have to get up early on Fridays, or Muhammad doesn't have to just eat like early mornings, maybe like that. Okay, here when we talk about has or have got to or has got to was it's like they are the same, like have got to or has got to. We can say it also as has to or have to. You will not find a huge difference between them, but just here in your curriculum, they said if we need to just put it in it as it was positive sentence, this one if it was as a negative. Rudaina has got to check the inbox every morning. Here, Rudaina has got to check the inbox every morning. So this one is we are talking about have got or has got for these examples here. But here, if we said has Rudaina got to check the inbox every morning, or how often has Rudaina got to check the inbox? The inbox has got to be checked every morning. This one, if we're talking about passive sentence. What about if we need to put it in the past? Have got or has got to, we're gonna be had to, not had got to. So if I need to change the has got to and have got to the past, I'm gonna write them as had to. Basically, I'm gonna remove got if I need to just put it in the negative or in the past. It's gonna be had got to. Like Malak had got to borrow money after losing her purse. Okay, so this one I'm gonna remove got, and I will write the same sentence as we have here. It's supposed to be Malak had to borrow money after losing her purse. What about need, needs, or needs to? Need to or needs to, we use it as have to or has to. For example, we have here, with he, she, it, I'm gonna put s to the verb. Like here, Yara needs to take a language course. But if I need to make it to the negative, I'm gonna remove the S that was here. I'm gonna say Yara doesn't need to take. I will put the verb in the first form. Yara doesn't need to take a language course. About the question also, I will remove the S from here. And I'm gonna say, does Yara need to take a language course? If I need to put the WH question, I'm gonna say, what does Yara need to take? A language course needs to be taken by Yara. And about needn't, like, we just need to remember that needn't, after it, we don't need to put to. Like here, need not. I will remove the to. So if it was in the positive, in the negative question, or just even if it was in the passive, I will say need to. It's going to be okay. Because if we need to just change it to the negative, here I'm going to add doesn't, like doesn't need to. Or does your Yara need to? What does Yara need to? But if we are talking about needn't, I'm gonna remove to. I'm gonna say it like that. Mom needn't to go shopping every day. I'm gonna remove this to from here. Okay. Now we can go to the next one about uses of have to or has to. In this part, we said like we have a force, like someone forced you to do that. Maybe by rules, maybe by okay, and it was in just present or future. Like I have to pay the bill or the internet service will be disconnected. My children have to study next year. Also here we have will have to plus infinitive. We just talking about something that which is like so important to do it in the future. Like I can't just like that. Like here the flight is at 6 in the morning, so we will have to get up very early. So after we'll have to, I have to put the verb in infinitive, like we will have to get up, we will have to play, we have to sleep. And this something, it's so important in the future. I think this is the last one. No, it's not. Okay, we have here had to plus infinitive. We used it as we are talking about the past, and have to or must to, it was the past from had to infinitive. We used it when we're talking about something, it's obligatory. In general, was in the past. Like Aya had to cook. Aya didn't have to cook. Did Aya have to cook? What did Aya have to do? The family dinner had to be cooked. So if it was in the past, I'm gonna use had to plus infinitive. Here it's about mustn't, don't, doesn't, have, need to plus infinitive. We need to know the difference between mustn't not, must not, or don't, doesn't, don't or doesn't plus have, or need to. Mustn't, we are talking about something we can't deal with that. It's like illegal, it's not allowed for us. So students have to make noise in the exam. Okay, so here we have to remove don't have to or don't need to, because this something it's so important. We can't go with it. And here we have another examples that express that we are not, it's not important, like the don't or doesn't have to plus infinitive, don't or doesn't need to plus infinitive, or needn't plus infinitive. So students mustn't get up early on Fridays as it's holiday. So it's not mustn't, like maybe if you need to wake up early in the morning, like on Friday, it's gonna be okay. So it's up to you, but also he just you know to give you some time more a little bit to sleep well. Maybe you can sleep 8 hours, 9 hours, because like the day after that it's Friday. So students mustn't get up early on Friday. So we can't not say that. We can say just simply the students don't have to get up early. So, you know, don't have or need to or doesn't need to. It's like 50-50, or we can say it's 50%. But must, it's like 100%. Then in the next example here, we have it's about students don't have to get up early on Fridays as it's holiday. Students don't have need to get up early on Friday as it's holiday. Students need to get up early on Friday as it's holiday. Yes, so both of them were correct. What about the second? Oh, okay. Didn't or need have to, needn't have to plus the past participle. Here they need you to know the difference between didn't plus need or have to plus infinitive, and needn't have plus the third form. So if we are talking about the first one, didn't plus need or have to plus infinitive, it's something that like the person who is already doing the action, it know well that this something's not obligatory, it's not important to do it. So it was raining, so I didn't need to water the flowers. So because the flowers were already watered from the raining. Okay, so the person who are doing the action as he know well that this something is not important to do it, because already here we have the raining or the water from the raining. Here we have needn't have plus the third form. We are talking about something that it's not like the person who is doing the action, he doesn't know, like Ali here, he doesn't know is it important or not. Like Ali needn't have goat meat. We have enough in the freezer. So Ali didn't know that we have enough meat, so we bought more unnecessarily. Okay. So here, how many minutes now? Okay. This Zoom meeting is